So my name's Gaz. I'm married to Georgia. We've got two little girls, Harper and Freya. We live in East Greenwich, and I work for New Day, which is a big Christian youth event that happens every summer in Norwich. And it's a real privilege to be involved in that, and also involved in Emmanuel Church as well, helping run some of the technical side of Sunday mornings and some of the other stuff we do as well. So I became a Christian when I was about 14, and I think a lot of people's story is kind of like they went looking for answers or wanted to kind of explore the big questions in life, which are great things, but to be honest, I didn't even do any of that. I just sort of found myself accidentally, really to put it like that, in a church youth group, and kind of accidentally heard the gospel. So I think whereas some people would describe kind of a searching, mine was genuinely kind of like a compelling grace. Like God very clearly wanted me, had his hand on my life, and brought me in. So started going to a youth group, which was great fun, and then eventually ended up on like a church weekend away, youth weekend away type thing, where I just sort of saw people worshipping for the first time, and it was all very alien to me, very unknown. But someone preached the gospel, and like just in that moment, there was just something compelling about it, and I was like, I need this. I have to respond to this. So I'm not from a Christian family, not from a Christian background, but I heard the gospel for the first time, and responded. It's been an interesting journey because my family aren't Christians, still aren't Christians, but I've been able to just over the last sort of 15 years or so, like live life as a Christian. And what I tried to do is show them what that looks like, and I'd like to think that those around me that knew me then, and particularly my family, would have seen the change in me that has come about as a result of my relationship with Jesus. One specific thing that happened, which was really interesting actually, so my wife and I were leading Alpha in our previous church, and we had a guy who wasn't a Christian, he was just exploring faith, and one of the things he couldn't understand was every time we were eating the meal before we heard the talk, I couldn't eat tomato, so I was intolerant to tomatoes, and it sounds really silly and weird, and as he challenged me on that, he was like, we were talking about healing on the Alpha course. He's like, well, why are you allergic to tomato? Like, you're a good Christian, you believe in God, you have faith. Like, why have you got an allergy then? That doesn't make sense. And I couldn't really give him a good answer other than the fact that I felt like, food intolerance is nothing. It's like when people are praying, they're praying for like these big things, and this just sort of seems like an inconvenience in my life. So I've never really thought to receive prayer for it. Been in so many settings praying for healing, but never thought about it for me. And he was like, well, I want to pray for you, which for a non-Christian to pray. Anyway, so he made us pray. He was like, we want to pray for this thing. And I didn't really think much of it. And then he just kept challenging me on it and being like, well, what's happened? And eventually, I was like, well, let's try it out, eat tomato. Normally I would have got like just really quite unwell quite quickly, not like anaphylactic or anything like that, but quite ill. And started eating tomato again and was completely healed. And this guy, the exciting thing about it was I got healed, which is amazing, and it's made our life a lot easier. My wife will tell you how much easier that has made our life and what we can cook and go around to people's houses for dinner, that kind of thing. But actually, God used that to reveal himself to somebody else as well. So I got the privilege of receiving healing, but also being able to tell somebody about Jesus and why that was God and how God was at work through that. God's always just speaking to me about his heart for the church and just how important it is for us as believers to meet together, to connect with each other, to do fellowship with one another. And I'm just really excited in this season with all we've got going on at Emmanuel and the things that are planned over the next term, just to get really stuck in, connect with people more. I'm quite an introvert, so actually for me, walking across the room and connecting with people can be quite a challenge. But God's just really pushing me to do that and be more front-footed and more forward-thinking about how I can present Jesus to people around me, but also just how I can connect people and help in the church and serve as well.